Good afternoon. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to go over the 3 things I share with people when they're in crisis, and maybe I can't see them right away, but regardless, they're 3 phenomenal practices in combination that can get most people out of a crisis state, or at least reduce their pain or anxiety significantly in a very short period of time. So, I'll introduce myself. My name is Dr. Michelle Veneziana. I'm a cranial osteopath and family practice doctor. So I work with a lot of spinal issues, body pain, stress disorders. And I teach every single person these 3 things. It's interesting. I see almost no one doing them, at least in combination, in a conscious, focused way, as a way to shift the nervous system out of survival, right? Fight, flight, freeze, hide, to healing or restoration, which I summarize as rest, digest, heal, feel. So I'm going to show you how to do that in part. The first thing is, first of the 3, is make sure you're not sitting in a hole. So I have this little stool here. I'll demonstrate. Like most chairs have your butt sitting lower than your knees. Most chairs have a hole in the back, and that's just all backwards. It may be kind of comfortable because we kind of get to slouch into things, but it just turns off all of our power and our neural circuits and our muscles. And then if we sit poorly like this and things go to sleep, we end up getting up and walking poorly in a way that creates issues. So the first thing is, make sure you're not sitting in a hole. And if I'm, in a dentist's office or something, I'll find a chair that I can sit on the edge of, or if I'm at home or in my car, I'll actually put a wedge, some kind of foam wedge. I have a nice sturdy one that I like, that I put the link to on my website. But you could just roll a towel, or like I said, sit on the edge of your chair. And what happens is your spine becomes neutral, especially if you roll forward on your sit bones, which are right here. If you sit on your hand, you'll feel your sit bones and notice the difference. If you find more forward on the sit bones, what happens to the muscles in your neck, in your back? What happens to your breath? There's kind of a sweet spot with these muscles, kind of toward the front, where I'm just noticing the back of my head's getting relaxed and my breath is getting easier. And notice my knees are a little bit lower than my hips, and they can be level, but a little bit lower is even better. And what happens is, I'm rolling around here. I'm pretending my spine's like a seaweed rooted deeply into the earth from below and kind of rising toward the sun above. And what this posture allows is actually for quite a bit of softness and fluidity. And this constant micro motion, I'm doing it all the time, imperceptibly if I'm around people, but I'm never holding my breath or still. I'm always behaving as if I'm actually a fluid. And you'll notice as you drop into this neutral way of sitting that the breath becomes easier. The second part of the list of 3 things today is to actually feel your breath coming through the bottom of the rib cage in the back. Why is that? Well, the kidneys are here, and if we can sort of massage and wake up the kidneys a little bit with each breath, kidney, renal, adrenal, adrenaline, we actually lower the adrenaline output in the body. And if you're sitting on a meditation cushion, I'll come back down here. There's one way to kind of find your sweet spot, which is the height that you want, is the height at which your knees can rest comfortably on the floor. Now for me, this used to be a lot higher because my hips were really tight. But the more I practiced this neutral spine, the softer my hips got. And a lot of people think, oh, my hips are just going to always be tight. Well, not necessarily, not if you activate this central axis of power. That's really what core strength means. It's not just muscles, it's actually an electrical connection, a neural connection through the center of the body that has all of our strength extending from this central axis. So the first thing was not sitting in a hole, using a little wedge or sitting on the edge of your seat. The second is breathing, noticing if you're breathing down into the back of the bottom of the rib cage to release those kidneys and the adrenal circuit. And the third is to drink some water, like in the moment. And I have people drink water the minute they get up off my treatment table, because that flush of liquid through the kidneys also helps the kidneys release. And it really helps neutralize the nervous system. So what we want to do through these three things, and really mostly through our attention to the central axis and not sitting in a hole and breathing, is wake up this central line of power that has it be that not only does it feel amazing to sit, we can actually heal. We can shift our nervous system to the healing setting and be healing all day. And then the third thing is, what was the third thing? We can set ourselves up so that once we stand, we're using all the right muscles in the right way when we're walking, which can be an amazing way, mostly to tone the back body, which is associated with the parasympathetic nervous system, the opposite or fight or flight, and really tone the muscles wonderfully. So if you sit in a way that activates this core circuit, and you also sit in a way that wakes up the muscles that we need to walk in a balanced way, natural walking, which we'll go over later, you're actually going to achieve a lot of fitness and wonderful shaping of your body with absolutely no effort. It's really no effort once you get the hang of it. It's a little effort in the beginning, getting the hang of it. And then once it's like setting an idle, running, it just runs in the background all day long. And then if I want to go to a yoga class or do some other fitness and maybe I haven't worked out in a while, I'm so ready to go and not as likely to injure myself if I push it. So I'm all about being free and feeling good to pursue the things that we love to do without having to worry about body pain. Thanks for joining.